Let's talk about a couple of concepts today. The first one is astrology and the second one is spirituality. First of all, about astrology. Do you think that planets affect you? If you do not believe that planets affect you, then you're wrong, because we see these influences in our everyday life. The most common thing that we see is the lunar cycles. The lunar cycles are in sync with a woman's cycle, or rather a woman's cycles are in sync with the lunar cycle, and you would see that the oceans, the tides go up and down based on the lunar cycles. Our moods get affected, so we are not able to sleep on full moon days if you're very sensitive to it. So all these influences are already there for us to watch out for. Now lunar cycles affect us the most because moon is the closest to earth. That's the reason. But there are other influences as well in our lives. You must have heard of the Mercury retrograde, how it affects communication, how it affects technology and all of that. The effects of these planets are there in our everyday lives. We just need to watch out for them, or we just need to understand that they are there. You might also know that there are dashas or periods. So as you go through life, you don't have like a flat curve of life. There are ups and downs in life. These are also dependent on the influences of planets. There are certain dashas or periods during which the influence of certain planets go up, and then there are certain other times where these influences come down. And so that's why you see that sometimes in life you feel like really lucky and things are working out well. Other times they are not as smooth. So these are the influences of planets, and I don't talk about astrology in general because I feel that when I talk about planets, people keep that aspect in mind and their whole life is dependent on that, and they are not like living consciously. So that's why I talk about the concept of spirituality. If you go to any astrologer and you say that you are a spiritual person, you meditate, and you ask them to read your horoscope, they are usually a little hesitant. If you go to a good astrologer, they are very hesitant. That's because they cannot accurately predict what's going to happen, because you are in a place, when you are a spiritual person, when you are into meditation, when you are living consciously, you are in a place where you can consciously make certain choices in life. I'll give you a very small example. Let's say that you have Mars in a certain house in your horoscope, which has an influence where it makes you an angry person. Now, if you are someone who's into meditation and who's really aware and conscious of their actions and their feelings, then every time you start getting angry, you can make a conscious choice to calm down. That's where you can see that you are able to make a conscious choice there. If you're not aware, if you're not someone who's into meditation, into spirituality in all these aspects, then those influences are somewhere more on you compared to someone who's into all of these things. That's because we are very aware. These influences are there, we become aware, and then we can take a conscious action. That's how things work. So I'm not saying that spirituality totally negates these influences, but you can sort of reduce these influences. This is one aspect. Then the other aspect is that there are certain practices, there are certain rituals where you can please certain gods, which can help you with reducing some of these influences. You can do some social service, and those kinds of things can affect or reduce these influences on your life. But I would again say that focus on spirituality, focus on conscious living, because you can only focus on what is in your control. You cannot focus on what's not in your control. And as you become more and more aware of yourself, the less these influences start becoming in your life. And I also talk about how karma happens, because karma is all about like compulsions, conditioning, and all of these. If you're aware, then your karma also starts coming down over time. That's a topic. That's a topic for another video. So I'm not going to talk about that. But coming back to spirituality, I would suggest that you get into meditation, into conscious living, and don't worry about these things. Generally, there's a fear in us when we look at certain negative influences, and then our life runs on that fear, and that's not a good thing, not a good place to be in. So hope these give you some idea about these. Hope this gives you some idea about these concepts, and If you are looking for videos on spirituality, then don't forget to follow my Instagram channel. It's called Urban Yogi. I'm going to put the link here below in this video. And I look forward to talking to you more in the future. If you have any questions, any specific questions about these topics, then please post your comments below. Thank you.